everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be starting another reading vlog for you guys. So this reading vlog should definitely be pretty chill after having like a million things that I wanted to do in my summer ween vlog that I just posted. I feel the need to just calm down a little bit and film a casual type of reading vlog, so it's gonna be fun. But it's gonna be relaxing, hopefully. But that does not mean that I don't have quite a few books that I would like to read in this video. I also am doing a readathon with my patrons over the weekend, which I'm really excited about. So let me just show you the books that I would like to read in this video, and then we will get into the rest of the vlog. So first of all, I am currently in the middle of a book, and that is Loveless by Alice Oseman. I feel like I've put this book on many TBRs, but I've actually yet to pick it up, but this week was finally the time. I decided a few days ago that I finally wanted to read the other two Alice Oseman books that are on my shelves. So I started and finished I Was Born for This, which I really enjoyed, and now it is finally time for me to read the last one that I have yet to read. I'm currently 203 pages into this one. I'm on part 3. Basically in this book we are following our main character Georgia as she is going off to university, and she just feels very romantically behind in life, and she's trying to basically force herself to fix that even though maybe she doesn't want to. So I've just been really enjoying this one so far and watching Georgia kind of figure out her sexuality as she is kind of settling into this new place. I think it's done really well. I just love Alice Oseman's books so much. As I'm sure you guys know, I don't normally, well, ever reach for YA contemporary because that's just not necessarily what I want to read, but something about Alice Oseman's books, like, I just loved it. They just feel really cozy almost. I just love reading them, and her characters feel so like authentic and real. And even though I am like 5 years older than the main character in this book, I still feel like there are many things that I can take away from this book and relate to. So I'm liking this one a lot, and I will be finishing this one up soon. The next book I don't actually have a copy of yet, but I will very soon be acquiring one because I am going to do a little bit of book shopping this morning, so that's coming. But that is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. I'm a little bit scared about this one, I can't lie. I've been like really excited about this book, but from some of the early reviews that I've seen and from some of the things that you guys have been telling me in the comments of my videos, I don't know what the execution is going to be like, and I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. I think one of you guys compared it to Teen Beach Movie, and I don't know if that's what I'm looking for in a romance, but it does make me intrigued. I'll give it that. But this is a romance novel that's following our main character who is a lit professor, potentially. I'm not exactly sure, I don't remember. But she ends up going into a novel in some fashion. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it does happen. And I think she ends up falling in love with one of the characters that is a part of that book. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know if I'm gonna like the execution or not now, but I'm still really excited about this one because it does sound like it's gonna be really fun. I also have loved the other two Ashley Poston books that I've read, so I feel like this one is still gonna be pretty good. The next book that I have to read is a book that I have previously started, but I'm actually going to be restarting this book because it's been like a year, I think, since I read the first part of this. And that is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I just really would like to read this book. I started it last July and I was really enjoying it, and I kept telling myself like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick this one back up and it's gonna be great. And then I just never picked it back up, but I'm thinking it's time. I feel like this one would be more suited to the fall, but I have a different Bronte book that I would like to read in the fall, and I don't want to be like halfway through this one and like start this one and then like have to go back and restart this one. That was just too much chaos for my brain to handle, so I'm like, I'm gonna finish this one and then I'll get into another one. But I think I made it up to page like 130 potentially the last time I read this book. I was annotating it and everything, like there's highlighting everywhere. I think these first 130 pages will be an interesting reread, that's for sure. But I am excited to get back into this one. This is like a gothic classic of sorts that's following our main character Jane. You're kind of following her from when she was small up until she becomes a governess for this potentially sketchy dude. And I'm just excited to jump back into this book. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it in this vlog because I think it's about 450 pages, which is kind of long for a classic. So I don't know if I want to like attempt to finish it in this video or not. I feel like that's not my best idea, but never say never. Then I do have another gothic romance type of book that I would like to pick up, and that is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. Initially my plan for this book was to save it for September because I'm gonna do like a spooky romance type of video in September like I always do. But I was kind of just thinking about it the other day and I was like, I kind of want to read that book. That does sound fun. So I'm just going to read it in July because why not? I don't know a ton about this book aside from the fact that it's like a gothic YA fantasy romance type of situation we will just see what it's about as I actually read this book. And then the last book that I want to read, I know it just keeps going, but this one is actually an audiobook, and that is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I read his newest release in my last video and I really liked it, so I've been wanting to read some more of his. And while I don't know anything about the plot of this thriller, I do know the general direction that it's gonna take. And I'll leave it at that, very vague, but I am quite interested to see what I think of this one. But I don't actually have the audiobook for it yet. I think my hold from Libby is coming in this week. I'm really hoping it is because I really want to listen to this book. So we will just hope that it does actually come in. So here is the TBR for this week, at least the ones that I currently have copies of. And they look so cute together, like this pink and blue situation. I'm a fan of. But anyway, as for the plans that I have for this vlog, I don't have many. I do have some plans for this morning though, actually, because I would like to go do a little bit of book shopping. I have quite a few books that I would like to sell to half price, so I'm gonna use whatever I make off of that and buy some more books because I'm just really in the mood to do a little bit of book buying. So I thought I would take you guys with me. I'm also gonna pick up a novel love story while I'm there because I do need that book. And that's kind of my only plan that I have for this video aside from my readathon, which is taking place on Saturday, which I'm quite excited about because I get to spend the whole day reading and it'll just be really chill and cozy. So that is kind of everything that I have for this video. We'll just kind of see where this vlog takes us, but it should be fun. So I hope you guys are excited. I certainly am. So let's go to the bookstore. Okay, so I've returned from my book shopping excursion and I ended up buying 5 books, which is not exactly what I was aiming for. Like, I was gonna go for like 2 or 3 maybe, but for some reason half price was just delivering today, so I bought 5 books. My goal going into book shopping was to find some like mystery books or books that I think are gonna be good for fall because I do like to kind of prepare my fall TBR very early, obviously. So I got some for that. I got like a spooky book, and then obviously I did pick up a novel love story by Ashley Poston. I am really excited to have this in my hands because I think the cover is so cute. But then as for the other books that I bought, first of all, let me show you maybe the one that I'm the most excited about because I found Empty Smiles, which is the 4th book in the Small Spaces series by Katherine Arden. And this is my favorite middle grade kind of horror series, and I've been needing the 4th book in hardback, so this is perfect. But not only is it in the edition that I wanted, but it's also signed by Katherine Arden, which is very cool. And I'm so happy about that. I just think this is such a solid addition to my collection. Then I got 2 mystery books, which I'm going to be using for this like cozy mystery vlog that I'm planning on filming next month, which I cannot wait for. The first one being The Murder at the Vicarage by Agatha Christie. I have been wanting to try another Agatha Christie for quite a while because a few years ago I read Murder on the Orient Express and then there were none. I didn't really love either of those, honestly, but I've been wanting to try a Miss Marple mystery because I think those 2 are Hercule Poirot, maybe? I could be wrong. But this is like the first book in all of the Miss Marple books. I don't think you have to read them in order necessarily, but they had the first one. So I was like, this seems like a solid place to start. So I'm interested to see what I think of this one. I feel like this is definitely kind of a cozy murder mystery type of situation, and it should be fun. And then the other book in that vein is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osmond. This is of course a book that is so popular. I feel like so many people have read this book and really like it. And it's always been something that was on my radar. I just never wanted to like buy a copy of it, but they had this nice hardback there. I was like, why not, you know? And I think this follows people in a retirement home that solve murder mysteries, which sounds so fun and delightful, honestly. So I'm quite excited about this one. And then the last book that I decided to get, obviously you guys saw it, there was no way I wasn't gonna get it, and that is part 1 of the Twilight graphic novel. I have read this before. I read it last September, and I really liked it. Like, they're just fun, you know? So I figured, why not pick it up? Solid purchase. Like, I didn't need this, but I needed it, you know? So those are the 5 books that I picked up while I was out book shopping, and I'm quite excited about all of them. But anyway, it is time to get into whatever my plans for the rest of the day happen to be. I don't have a lot of plans, honestly. I'm definitely planning on reading more of Loveless. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it today, but honestly, I feel like I definitely could. Maybe I'll make that my goal. I mean, it's not that long. Maybe I'll clean my room. That sounds like something I need to do. I need to put all my new books on my shelves, so that'll be fun. I think my plans for the rest of the day are to just do something chill and fun. Although speaking of things that are chill and fun, if you guys are potentially looking for things that you could do that are chill and fun, might I recommend the sponsor of today's video, which is Skillshare. So thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. If you guys don't know, Skillshare is an online learning community full of thousands of different classes that you can possibly take that are all led by industry professionals. And it is the perfect place to pick up a new hobby for the summer or improve an existing interest that you already have, like I'm trying to do. Because recently I've really been wanting to try out some different styles of journaling. Obviously, I love my own style, which is why I do it like all the time, but sometimes it is nice to try something a little bit different, so I've been wanting to do something a little more scrapbooky looking. So I hopped on Skillshare for some inspiration. So I've been getting a lot of help from Mei Ying Chao's class on Turning Memories into Artwork, a beginner's guide to scrapbooking. And this class is perfect for beginners because it goes over things such as the essential tools you may want to have, how to make your own stickers, and also how to reuse things that you might already have laying around in your journaling. But the part of this class that I found to be most helpful was the section on perfecting title fonts. I think my least favorite part of journaling is trying to figure out how to write titles so they all end up looking the same because I found something that works. But sometimes I do want to try something new. But she has so many suggestions that I want to try, such as using stencils, stamps, or even fonts on your computer. So obviously I ended up making a spread using the things that I had learned in this class because I've been wanting to make a spread of the last time Cass visited me for a while. I just didn't exactly know what I wanted to do with it. But this class was kind of perfect for it, and I ended up using a font of my own handwriting and using that as the title, and I feel like it adds such a personal touch to the spread, and I really love it, and I want to do this more. And while the spread still very much feels like a type of spread that I would normally do, I really liked being able to watch this class and bring in a couple new elements to spice things up a bit. But if you're not into journaling or scrapbooking, they do have so many other classes that you could take, and as I said before, summer is kind of the perfect time to pick up a new hobby. There are a few classes that I would like to check out at some point in time. The first one being this class on how to embroider woodland animals. I currently think this might be a little bit out of my skill set, but at some point in time I would love to take a stab at this because they are adorable. And then the other one is another journaling class, but I did not know Amanda Rach Lee had a Skillshare class, and obviously love her. So I would love to take her class on art journaling because it looks so cool. So I will leave a link down to Skillshare in the description if you want to check them out, and the first 500 people that click that link will get their first month of Skillshare for free. That is a whole month of potentially picking up a new hobby that you could fall in love with. So thank you again so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video and supporting me and my channel, and to you guys as well for always supporting me and my channel. I appreciate you all so much. So with that, let us get back into the video. I think for the rest of today, I would like to read some more of Loveless, and I'm quite excited about it. So, it is the next morning. First of all, I want to show you a book that I got yesterday that I'm really excited about because I now have my own copy of Trick or Treat: A History of Halloween. I started reading this book in my summer ween vlog, but I was using a copy that I was borrowing from the library. But I was just enjoying it so much, and it feels like a book that I should have in my collection that I decided to get a physical copy of it for myself. It also came with this cute little, like, jack-o'-lantern dude who will be residing in there for now. I'm just really happy that I have a copy of this, and I cannot wait to read some more of it because I only read like 30 or so pages in my vlog last week, and I definitely would like to slowly read this over the next few months. I feel like that would be kind of a perfect way to get into the spooky season. But as for things that I've done so far today, I have some books to talk about, and then I also did clean my shelves a little bit because they get so dusty and it's so gross, honestly. I am not on top of dusting my shelves ever. So I decided a good way to motivate myself to do it would be to film it maybe. So I hope you enjoyed that. Maybe it was boring. I don't know. But as for reading updates, of which I have two, the first one I think I want to talk about is Loveless because I read a little bit of this morning, but then I read a ton of this yesterday as well. And I've made it up to page 363, and I'm still continuing to just really enjoy this, even though Georgia, our main character, has been going through it for the last like 160 pages, honestly. And that's definitely the point because the main thing that this book focuses on is Georgia realizing that she is an aromantic asexual, and it's kind of focusing on her journey of self-acceptance because her whole life she has been obsessed with romance. She loves reading, watching, consuming romance things, and she was always kind of expecting that to happen to her. But when she got to university and she started trying to force those things to happen in her life, she realized she didn't really like that. And this book is kind of focused on her journey, figuring that out, figuring out what exactly that means for her. But I wouldn't say the way she's going about figuring this out is the best, but I feel like this book really highlights how messy it can be when you're in such a confused kind of state of mind all the time when you're going through something like what Georgia's going through. And I like that because it feels very real, but I also just feel really bad for Georgia because she is making some decisions that are definitely affecting a lot of people around her, even though she's not doing it with malicious intent, but like, it's not great. So I'm really looking forward to the end of this book when hopefully things are going to get resolved between her and her friends, because her and her like two best friends all went to the same university and they're all just having some issues right now, and I know things are gonna get resolved by the end of the book, and I'm really excited for that because I think it'll just be kind of the perfect conclusion to this story. So I really love this book, honestly. I feel like this is definitely one of my favorite Alice Oseman novels. I think maybe like number 2, potentially. You guys didn't ask for my ranking, but like as of now, here's my ranking of Alice Oseman's 4 novels. It goes Radio Silence, then Loveless, then I Was Born for This, then Solitaire. So there is currently how Loveless is going. I'm definitely going to be finishing this book up later today because I just really want things to be resolved for Georgia. And then my other reading update is that I have started Belladonna. Initially I wasn't planning on starting this yet, but was just kind of feeling it yesterday. And I'm really liking this one too. I'm on page 74 now, and it's definitely been a lot of setup so far, but I am so intrigued right now because we're following our main character Signa, who has been very close with death her whole life. She can't die, she can see ghosts, and death himself, like the personification of death, does frequently stop by and visit her. So that has definitely caused a lot of issues for her, and she is currently an orphan, so she's been kind of bouncing back and forth between all of these people in her family that are supposed to watch over her, but like death keeps killing them basically. So not great. But this book opened up on her current guardian dying, and like I don't really feel that bad for her because she kind of sucked. But we're following Signa as she is moving to this different house with different family that is going to be looking after her. And she's moving to this manor called Thorn Grove, and it is absolutely stunning. Like, let me tell you, Adeline Grace's descriptions of this house are just so deliciously gothic, honestly. Like, that is exactly how I would describe it, and I love them so much. I feel like, tangent here, like I'll get back to the plot in a second, but I feel like this book is so incredibly atmospheric, and I'm just loving the writing overall, not even just the descriptions. It all feels so dark and gloomy, and I can totally see why you might want to wait to read this until like fall, because like so far this book, very, very fall. I mean, I'm reading it in the middle of July, so it's not exactly the best time for it, but I still love it, and it's kind of like transporting me to that more kind of gothic atmosphere that I always want. But this house is very beautiful, but it is a little bit creepy so far, which I love a good kind of gothic, creepy, potentially haunted mansion, obviously. That is always what I want in a spooky book. But we're following Signa as she is settling into this new life and getting acquainted with all of the other people that currently live at Thorn Grove. And I'm just really liking it so far, which obviously I'm very happy about, because this is a book that's been on my radar and a book that I've had on my TBR for quite a while. And I always had a feeling I was really gonna like it because obviously gothic fantasy romance sounds right up my alley. And so far this one definitely has been. I'm really hoping it stays that way. I feel like it will, because as the book progresses, I think we're going to be following Signa as she tries to keep the inhabitants of Thorn Grove alive, basically, because she doesn't want death to come for them too and like ruin this new amazing life that she has. So I'm excited. I think it's gonna be fun. Another thing that is definitely keeping me intrigued is that I don't know where the romance is gonna go, because I think there have been like two kind of options that have been presented to me so far, and I feel like in a lot of books that are pitched as fantasy romance, like, you know who's gonna be the love interest, right? Like, it's very clear from the start. But I've always heard this book pitched as like a girl having a romance with Death himself, which is where I thought this was gonna go. But now I'm not sure. I have no idea, but I feel like that uncertainty just makes it even more entertaining. So I don't know if I'm gonna read some more of this today. I'm not sure. I definitely just want to focus on finishing Loveless, and then I'll figure something else out later, probably. Okay, so good morning. It is the next day. I do have quite a few things to talk about this morning as well. I feel like I've just been reading so many books and doing so many things in this video already. So I have reading updates, I have some fun mail that I got yesterday that I want to show you, and obviously I started a little craft project yesterday, which I'm excited about. I am very aware that I'm like a year too late to this trend, but I don't even care. I feel like I'm a year too late to like every trend, so at this point, nothing should surprise you. But last year I saw a bunch of people making tic-tac-toe boards out of like air dry clay, and for some reason yesterday I was like, I want to try doing that because one popped up on my Pinterest. And obviously I took the opportunity to make it a little bit spooky, so the outline is a ghost and then the pieces are going to be pieces of candy corn and then just like little black circles. I didn't know what to do for the other ones and I was like, this is fine. My clay skills are like for the most part non-existent. Although I do feel like my ghost is looking pretty good. It is drying downstairs, so I'll probably paint that in a few days, but I did make some of my pieces of candy corn too big. So I can show you this because I did paint this morning. And I want to go buy some magnets today so I can turn this into a fridge magnet because this is too big for my tic-tac-toe board. So this is honestly really fun and I want to try making more things with air dry clay because I now have like a whole tub of it. So there are definitely a lot of possibilities. Definitely plan on making some fridge magnets. That was really fun and a really nice way to spend my day yesterday. And then very fortuitously yesterday, my hold for the audiobook for The House Across the Lake came in. So I listened to, I think like 3 hours of it maybe yesterday while I was doing that. Yeah, so I'm like 30% of the way into that and I am kind of liking it so far. Basically it's following our main character Casey, who is living in this house on a lake, and there's this house across the lake, as you might assume, and she loves spying on the husband and wife that are living there with her super strong binoculars basically, and she's starting to wonder maybe if something's going on because there are a couple of incidents that she has witnessed. Obviously she can't hear them, but she can kind of make some assumptions based on the things that she has seen. So it very much reminds me of Rear Window, and I think that is the point. Rear Window is one of my favorite Hitchcock movies, so I'm really liking this one as well because it's just such a strong concept. I don't really know if I like any of the characters that much. Our main character is definitely going through it, like her husband drowned in this lake I don't know how long ago, but she's currently living there because she is an actress and she's been doing a couple of questionable things recently that have been getting her some pretty bad publicity, so she's kind of staying at this lake house to stay out of the public eye basically. But she is definitely doing some other questionable things basically. So I'm really interested to see where this is gonna go. Obviously as a reader you also don't really know what's going on in this house across the lake. I feel like it's just fun. I'm intrigued. I definitely want to continue to listen to it and I will be doing that. So I'll probably listen to a little bit of that later today. And then I did also finish a book because I finished up Loveless and I loved this book, honestly. It's just such a heartwarming story about our main character finding her place in the world, but it also focuses on the people around her and them kind of finding their place in the world. It's just a whole book about self-acceptance, finding your sexuality. I just always love how effortlessly inclusive and diverse Alice Oseman's books are. I feel like they are just lovely, honestly, and I really, really liked this one. Obviously, reading this book reminded me a lot of my first year of college, which unfortunately got cut short, but my first semester of college was super fun and I do look back on it very fondly, so this book kind of brought me back to that time in my own life, which I really liked. It was just such a good read, and I always feel like Alice Oseman has such a knack for writing characters that feel so real. Like, I feel like these characters are just going about their lives in the world right now, and I feel like that's a really special thing that an author can be able to do. So I just really loved it, honestly, and I'm so glad that I finally got around to reading it because I have been putting this on so many TBRs, but I never actually picked it up. So I'm glad that I finally did. So those are my couple of reading updates. I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna get up to reading today. I might not read anything else today, honestly, because tomorrow is my 24-hour readathon, and I'm definitely aiming to read both Belladonna and a novel love story for the readathon tomorrow. So I might just take a break today and kind of focus on those tomorrow, maybe? I don't know, we'll see. But I do have some fun mail that I would like to show you guys, which I am so excited about because I absolutely love Kat Karas's YouTube channel. She makes very chill, cozy reading vlogs, and I am obsessed with them, honestly. But the other day she reached out to me and asked if I wanted some stuff from her shop, and I was like, first of all, what are you doing here? But like in the best possible way. But obviously I said yes because I love all of her stuff that she has in her shop. It is so cool. So I wanted to show it to you because I'm so excited about it and I'm so happy that she reached out. So the first little thing she sent me was this like annotation kit thing that she puts together. I love the bag. Obviously the bag is absolutely stunning. But there are things inside the bag because we have this little thing of tabs, which these are like some of my favorite tab colors. She also has this little annotation key like pad thing, so you can just like have this ready to go to put in your book. And then also with it, she sends this little like mechanical pencil thing, which looks so cool. And also a mild liner, which I've been meaning to replace this exact color of mild liner for so long because my gray one is currently, it doesn't color anymore basically because I've had it for so long. So this is so fortuitous and I'm so happy. And I just think this is such a cute little idea to like get started with annotating if you haven't really done it before. And then she also sent me some of her bookmarks and some of her sticker sheets, which I absolutely love. So first of all, we have the 4 bookmarks, all of which are so stunning. I also love that this one has like a little velvet ribbon on it. There we go. And these are so pretty, especially this library one. I absolutely love this. And then she also sent me 3 sticker sheets, which I love a good sticker sheet. So we have these, which I love the colors of. We have these reading ones, obviously. We have these little borders that you could put on spreads and the vampire stickers, obviously. And then she also sent me some little individual stickers. So we have these 3. And then my absolute favorite one, which is this like holographic bat sticker. Like this is so cute and I need to find something to put this on ASAP. So I will link her shop down below because I just love all of the stuff that she has so much and I would highly recommend you check it out. So thank you so much, Katie, for sending me some stuff from your shop and for the lovely little note that you put on here. So that was just so exciting. But I think that is everything that I have to tell you about today, probably. I think I'm just gonna chill for the rest of the day. I'm probably not gonna do any reading, but I will catch up with you guys tomorrow morning when I start my readathon. So it is the next day. It is the day of my readathon. It's currently 5 p.m. so a bit of a late update here, but I started my readathon around 11. I have an update on a novel love story. I have an update on my audiobook because I did read a little bit of it yesterday. And then I do want to talk about my reading plans for the rest of today as well. So we have a couple things to go over. The first thing being that I did listen to some more of my audiobook for The House Across the Lake yesterday. I very spontaneously went to IKEA to buy a shelf that I think is being discontinued, so I had to make sure I like got one. So I spent a lot of yesterday afternoon building that shelf while I was listening to my audiobook, which was actually really nice. And I think The House Across the Lake is continuing to be just fine. I don't think this is going to be a favorite Riley Sager thriller, although I am quite interested to see how it's going to wrap up because there have been like a couple of new things introduced into the story. I feel like it's kind of branched out from that initial focus on the husband and the wife that are in the house across the lake to some more crimes that have been going on in the area. So I'm really interested to see how everything is linked together and how the book is going to conclude overall. But for what it is, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely an easy audiobook to throw on. I like it. I don't really feel much of anything for any of our characters though, which I feel like is my main issue with this book. But I think the plot in this book is strong enough for me to want to continue it. So I'm probably not going to read any more of it today, but I'll probably finish it up tomorrow. Then as for what I've been reading today, I did start a novel love story by Ashley Poston, and I have made quite a bit of progress. I'm currently on page 187, so I think I'm like exactly halfway through the book. And there are definitely elements of this book that I absolutely love. Like 5 out of 5 stars for the concept of this fictional town, but in real life alone, because I love that so much, and just watching our main character kind of stumble upon this and see all of these places that she's read about in these books, I do absolutely love. I'm also really loving Ashley Poston's writing in this book, because every time Elsie encounters a new shop in this town, you get the most flowery description of like the cutest shop you could ever possibly imagine. And I do love that very, very much. The only problem that I'm having with this book really is the romance, because honestly, I don't really like the romance. I think my main issue at the moment is that I don't really feel a lot of chemistry between our two main characters. I feel like they had this weird hate, rivalry fueled feud in the beginning of this book, which I feel like felt kind of forced. And then I feel like they had one 3-second conversation and everything was fine between them, which I also just thought was kind of weird. So I don't love the romance. Like, it's not really doing much of anything for me. However, the town and the people that live in this town and the real world things that are having like actual impacts on this tiny fictional real town, I find to be so intriguing that I absolutely want to finish this book and see where everything goes, because the author that was writing the series that this town is like set in, she died recently, and the last book that is supposed to be in this quintet is never going to get written. And that has definitely had an impact on the town, because everything is kind of at a standstill. There are like perpetual problems that cannot get fixed because this book is never gonna get written. And I just love the concept of that so much, so it's definitely keeping me very intrigued to see what is gonna happen to this town as the book progresses. And now that Elsie has arrived, there are definitely a couple of things that were perpetually happening that kind of are not happening. So you're kind of wondering if this is because Elsie is here, why this is happening, what is her significance in this town, in this story, that it's making it do this. And I just love that so much that I don't even care if I don't like the romance, honestly. So I'm going to probably put this on pause for a little bit, because I do want to kind of get into some of my other books. I'm thinking I want to hop back into Belladonna. I have not read any more of this since I last talked to you. I'm still on page 75, but I'm just kind of feeling like switching things up a bit and hopping back into this one for a little bit. So I think that's everything that I have to share with you guys today. It's currently about 5:30, and I do have some more sprints with my patrons at 6, so that should be really fun. But until then, I'm gonna hop back into Belladonna. do have a couple of updates for you guys. The first one being that I finished my little guy. He's so cute. I am so happy with how this turned out. Honestly, I don't really know what I'm gonna do with it. Like, obviously I know I could play tic-tac-toe, but I also don't really think he needs a purpose. He can just be. But I just love how it turned out. And then I also decided to make a bunch of candy corn magnets out of the like bigger pieces that I had, and I think they're really cute too. So there's my clay project for the weekend. I would say it was a big success and I'm really happy about it. But I do have a couple of reading updates for you because it is currently the next day. My readathon is over and I managed not to finish a single book for my own readathon, but that's okay because I did make quite a bit of progress in the 2 books that I was reading during my readathon. So first of all, I have read quite a bit more of a novel love story. I'm up to page 270 so far, so I think I'm like 3/4 of the way through the book, and I'm definitely gonna be finishing this today, that's for sure. And I think I'm liking it more than I was. I feel like the more that we follow these 2 main characters and the more that we see them kind of getting into that romancy, going on dates kind of sphere, I like it more, but I still feel like this is going to end up being my least favorite romance in an Ashley Poston book, which does make me quite sad. But it definitely continues to be fun because, like I said, I love the concept. I love seeing the impact that Elsie is having on this town. Also, side note, there are so many references to Twilight in this book. Like, I feel like at this point, to be a contemporary romance book, you have to have at least 1 Twilight reference. And this one has like 6, which I'm not mad at, honestly, because I think they're really funny. But it is a lot, more than I was expecting. So that's kind of where I'm at with this book at the moment. I'm really liking it and I am excited to see how this book wraps up because I feel like the ending is really gonna be make or break. Like, I just don't know exactly where we're going with this story, but I'm quite intrigued to get there. And then I do have a more kind of positive update because I have read quite a bit more of Belladonna, like a lot more. I think I'm on page like 350 now, and I'm really loving this book. Like, I can't believe it took me so long to finally pick it up and read it because I'm having a really good time. There are just so many things about this book that I'm loving. The first one obviously being the atmosphere. It's gothic, it's eerie, it's spooky, it's mysterious. I'm very much into the whole atmosphere of this book. I also think it has a really strong... Oh, there's a hummingbird. Cute. Sorry, just had to take a moment for some bird watching. I also think the plot of this book is really strong because Cigna's aunt died before Cigna arrived at Thorngrove, and now her cousin seems to be having the same kind of symptoms that her aunt was having before she died. And because Cigna can see spirits, the aunt, who is now a spirit, like inhabiting the house, approached her and was like, I was murdered. Please figure out what's going on and save my daughter. So we've been following Cigna as she's trying to figure out who's doing this, why they're doing it, how they're doing it, and I just think that's been really interesting so far. And I think a lot of the characters that are playing key roles in this book are really interesting, and they all have like a really interesting dynamic with each other and with Cigna, because Cigna has kind of teamed up with the stable boy whose name is Silas, and she's kind of feeling some type of way about him, but honestly, I don't trust that man. Like, just a vibe that I'm getting from him, but like, I don't trust him. But I think the most interesting dynamic present in this book is Cigna's dynamic with Death, because as the book progresses, you're kind of figuring out that Death isn't exactly the evil being that Cigna at once thought he was, and he's actually done some things that, you know, are actually kind of nice. And I just think it's a really interesting depiction of Death, because instead of making him like an evil Grim Reaper kind of character, he's like a very realistic depiction of what Death actually represents, and I like that, and I like how that's kind of coming into the story. And I just think this book is everything that I thought it was going to be, and I am loving it. Like, I cannot wait to pick up the second one, which I'm so glad that I bought, which is called Foxglove. And in this book, I learned that Foxglove is the name of the estate that Cigna is set to inherit when she turns 20, and it's by the seaside. I'm hoping it's also gothic and spooky and glorious, and I cannot wait for that one too, because I feel like as soon as I finish this book, I'm gonna want to jump into that one. It just has so many things going for it that like I absolutely love, because it also has like a historical setting to it as well, and I've really enjoyed watching Cigna interact within polite society. I feel like at the beginning of this book she was very much like, I want to do all the things that the girlies are doing. I want to have tea with my friends. I want to come out to society. I want to get married, have a husband, and that's all she wanted. And I think throughout the book she's kind of realized that's not exactly what she wants, and seeing her actually realize what she wants is very satisfying, obviously. So I'm just having a great time reading Belladonna, honestly, and I will also be finishing up this book. So I'm like really close to finishing both of these, so these are kind of like my plans for the rest of the day. However, I'm probably not going to read them immediately because I have different reading plans, because I really want to get back into Jane Eyre. Like, the gothicness of Belladonna is really making me want to pick this book back up and restart it. So I think that might be what I spend my afternoon doing. I want to maybe not make it up to where I was, but I would like to just like start it, you know, like just get back into it so I can like get back into the swing of it and keep going with it. So I'm quite excited because I was really liking this book the first time that I read it, and yeah, I just think it'll be fun. So those are all the updates that I have for you today. A lot of readings should be going on for the rest of the day, which is very exciting. I think I'm probably gonna end the vlog tomorrow maybe, so I've got a lot of things to do before then. So I'm gonna stop yammering and I'm gonna get into reading. So it is the next day and I'm here to finish off the video because I have finished 3 books in the time since I last talked to you. And obviously I want to go through them. So the first one that I finished up was Belladonna, and I really loved this book, and I'm so happy that I finally picked it up and read it. I really enjoyed the ending of this book. I think there is one reveal that I guessed pretty early on, but like the rest of it I certainly did not guess, and I really liked seeing how everything was coming together. I'm also quite interested to see where the rest of the series is going to take us, because something kind of happens in the epilogue that leads in to the events of Foxglove, I believe. And I'm quite excited to pick that one up. I definitely would like to pick it up rather soon so I can be ready for Wisteria when it comes out. But I just love this one. Such a solid gothic fantasy romance situation. I will say I'm not like 100% on board with the romance. I like it, I enjoy it, but it's not the thing about this series that I absolutely love, because I just really love the atmosphere, the ambiance, Signa as her main character, all of that is why I really loved this book, but the romance was kind of fun thrown in there, but it's not my favorite thing. Then I also finished up A Novel Love Story, and I actually ended up enjoying the ending of this book a lot more than I enjoyed kind of the first part of it. I still don't 100% love the romance, even though things you find out towards the end of this book do make the way that certain characters are acting in the beginning of this book makes sense, but I still feel like even just in general, they didn't really have a lot of chemistry. So even though the ending of this book did make me like them more as a couple, and there were like a couple of moments that I thought were really cute, I think overall I'm just not the biggest fan of Ashley Poston's romances. I feel like I've kind of run into issues with all of them so far, but concept-wise, her books are definitely a 10 out of 10. I just really wish I liked the romance more in this one, because this book is so cozy. Like this small town, all of the wacky side characters that are in it, and all of the talk about books throughout this book, I really loved. But the romance just didn't 100% work for me, and considering it's a romance book, that's not the best. But I still really liked it, and the ending definitely made me very happy, so do with that what you will. And then lastly, this morning, I finished up The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This one, this book took a turn, let me tell you. Like, I was expecting something, but I wasn't exactly sure what I was expecting, but this was certainly not what I was expecting. I feel like if I went into this not knowing what I knew about it, I would be very upset. Because it kind of seems to come out, I don't know if it comes out of left field necessarily, but like with this thing that happens, if I wasn't expecting something along these lines, I would literally be like, what the hell's going on? Although to be fair, I don't exactly know how this book was marketed. I'm not sure if it's marketed as just a thriller or like something else, like I don't know, but it was kind of wild. And there were definitely a lot of plot twists in this book that I did not see coming, like absolutely did not see coming. So I wouldn't say I absolutely loved this thriller. I feel like this is like right in the middle of like the Riley Sager books that I've read. Like I enjoyed it, and there were a lot of things about it that I liked, but I didn't like 100% love it. But I think as far as the reveals and the plot twists go, I think it was pretty good. So that's a little rapid fire of the 3 books that I finished since I last talked to you. And now I don't have anything else to say, so it's time to go. I don't really think I need to go through a recap of the books that I read in this video because I just talked about my final thoughts on 3 of them. But I did also finish Loveless, and I really liked this one. And then I did also read the smallest bit of Jane Eyre yesterday. I certainly did not read as much as I was hoping to of this book this week. I feel like the time just got away from me. But I'm definitely going to jump back into this on my own time soon, and hopefully read this over the course of August, maybe. That's kind of my goal. So I finished 4 books this week, which I am quite happy about. I feel like it was a pretty decent reading week, and I just had such a nice little, I feel like this kind of turned into more of a weekend reading vlog because it's Monday and I'm ending the video, and I started this on like Thursday, so inadvertent weekend reading vlog. I hope you guys liked it. I feel like I got to do some fun stuff this week, and it was just kind of relaxing and calm, which is what I was really needing. So that was just really nice. But also before we go, I would again like to thank Skillshare so much for sponsoring this video. I will leave a link down to them in the description, and the first 500 people that click that link will get their first month of Skillshare for free. Also, I would like to thank everybody over on my Patreon. If you are ever looking for more content from me, that is always linked down below. We do some fun stuff over there. I do journaling content, extra videos, we do a quarterly readathon, and we do a monthly buddy read together. This month we read A Novel Love Story, so I do have a whole spoiler-filled reading vlog situation up on there, probably. Maybe like in a few days. If you guys want to hear more of my thoughts on this book, there's always that. But with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. So thank you again so much for watching. I hope you are all having an amazing Monday or whatever day it is when you're watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.